Hello, hello, everyone. I believe I am live, which is a great thing. It's good to be here with everyone. My name's Troy, and we're going to be talking about LinkedIn outreach and how to connect with people on LinkedIn in an effective way in order to get leads to further your business, to bring in more revenue, to get into more sales conversations. This is something that I think most people struggle with. This is something that I've struggled with throughout my career, and I finally figured it out a number of years ago. A little background on me. My career has been spent really in international expansion. I've taken 4 different unicorns from Silicon Valley, from there into international markets, Latin America, Asia, Europe, etc. And one of the things that I noticed that I had to do when I was taking a company into a new market, even with a big brand, like I've worked for Evernote, uh, worked for Weebly, Drata, some big brands. And even with those big brands, the challenge was how to enter a new market and get connected with the right people, whether it be for partnerships, whether it be leads for bringing in revenue, etc. This was something that I had to solve in my career because my budgets were significantly smaller than the overall budget for the company for marketing or advertising, etc. So this is something that I had to figure out big time in my career, and I'm happy to share all of this with you today. So my goal today is that you come away from today's webinar with the tools you need, the skills you need in order to be effective in LinkedIn lead generation or partnership conversations, whatever you want to do with LinkedIn. I want to make sure that you're doing it in the most effective way and getting the biggest ROI out of it. Now, let's jump into the plan for today. We're going to first talk really 2 sections. LinkedIn prospecting. I'm going to talk about the importance of your profile, your LinkedIn profile, and then some very tactical outreach that you can be doing very effectively using LinkedIn. And then I'll talk about how to automate all of this so that you're not going in there and doing one-off conversations, etc., but automating all of this so that you have an evergreen funnel of leads coming into your orbit that you can sell to, work with, etc. That's the goal of today's webinar. So let's jump into it. I know that we're all busy, and we have a big goal today to have you take away a lot of skills and things that you can implement today. And also, I'll mention, stick with us till the end of the webinar. I have 3 gifts, free gifts that I'm going to be giving out to everyone. All you have to do is connect with me on LinkedIn and ask for it. So I'll give you a little preemptive call to action there, but I'm excited to give you some tools for free that you can use today to implement all of this and get started on your own. So let's jump in. The first question that I would like us all to ask ourselves is, why should I connect? Now, what I mean by this is all of us get connection requests every day on LinkedIn. A lot of it is spammy, salesy, etc. But really, what I noticed earlier in my career is that a lot of my connection requests that I was sending out, I was getting really high percentage connections. Meaning, if I sent out 100 connection requests, I was getting about 55 connections, successful connections. And then after that, in subsequent conversation and chatting back and forth with those individuals, I was getting about a 24% response rate. Now, when you compare that to email or any other cold outreach method, that's simply amazing. And I started really teaching people how to do this on their own, but their outcomes were not the same. And I really scratched my head on this. Why are they not getting the same outcomes that I'm getting? And this was the first epiphany that I had with LinkedIn outreach is when you're connecting with someone, you're asking them to develop a relationship with you. And this is what's going through their mind. This is what's going through your mind when someone tries to connect with you. Is it worth my time to even pay attention to this person? Is it a salesy person that I don't want to be associated with, right? Nobody likes a salesy person. Is it a scam? Is this person annoying? uh, is this even related to my industry? Is this someone that can help me in my industry? Is this an impressive person? Is this a helpful person? You get the idea. This is the mind of the person that you're trying to connect with. So it's our job when we do an outreach to someone to be sufficiently impressive in our LinkedIn profile that they make the decision, yeah, this is someone that I want to connect with. This is someone that might be able to help me. This is someone that I might be able to learn from. This is someone that I might be able to help myself, etc. And I'll talk about some of those tactics coming up here. But that's what people are really thinking when you're doing an outreach request. And as I was helping people and teaching them how to do this, I noticed that their connection requests were 15%, 10%, like really bad. And it really boiled down to their profile. So let's really quick talk about your LinkedIn profile, because this is really the basis upon which people are going to connect with you on. Now, this is an example. What I did is in preparation for the webinar, I simply went into LinkedIn and I did a search for John Smith. And of course, you can imagine a lot of people came up for John Smith. So I found two examples of John Smiths in the world and just put a little screenshot here of each of their kind of, above the fold view on LinkedIn. Now, this is John Smith, although he just goes by John S. He's a CIO and VP Information Technology. These people, by the way, are notoriously difficult to get to, which is kind of funny. But you'll notice no picture, no top banner, went to Weber State University. Just there's nothing here that is impressive. There's nothing here that gives me an indication of why I would actually want to connect with this individual. So let's go to another John Smith that came up and compare and contrast this, right? So this is a different John Smith. Up top, he has kind of like an interesting screenshot, probably of where he works, or if he's a founder. He's a founder at Waste Not, and has a great screenshot of his application up top. Even though I don't understand it, it's kind of interesting, and it tells me that this person is a builder. These are the types of people that I want to be associated with. So very good so far. And then you'll notice that under his name, number one, he has a full name. He has an image there as well. So I can see he's really a human being. This is a real person. And then it shows that he's a founder and kind of what he does. He increases profits for D2C brands. Okay, great. Now, if I'm in that industry and this person reached out to me, of course I'm going to connect with them. This is a no-brainer, right? Because there's so much context to this that I can determine this person is impressive, they're a builder, and I should probably connect with them because we're in the same industry. That's what we're going for. And that's what we need to do as we're doing outreach. We need to be sufficiently impressive that people want to connect with us. Now, some of you may think, well, maybe I'm not impressive. I can guarantee you, all of you are impressive. It's simply how you package together the story of your career on LinkedIn. And that's really an important step to go through. It's the first step that we need to go through in order to get impressive results when we're doing our connection requests. So I told you I was going to give you 3 gifts. The first gift that I want to tell you about that we're going to do is we have a trained chat GPT or a trained GPT that you can use. We'll give you a link to this after the webinar and follow up. But this will allow you to come in and it will go section by section through your whole LinkedIn profile, and it will work on each section with you. It will help wordsmith it, make sure that it's highly impressive, world class. It will also talk to you about how to do your profile picture, the top banner. It'll give you ideas and suggestions for all of that. Now, as with any AI tool, I don't suggest that you simply cut and paste, but this will get you 85, 90% there, and then you can wordsmith it, get it into your profile, and you're done. Most of the people that I give this to are done upgrading their LinkedIn profile within about 45 minutes. So the way I like to describe it is maybe get a coffee on a Saturday morning and spend 45 minutes to go through your LinkedIn profile so that it is sufficiently impressive and attractive to get people into your orbit. Think of it like dating. Now, I haven't been on the dating scene for way too long, so I may not know what I'm talking about here, but these dating apps, right? You have a profile. Well, you're not going to put a crappy picture of yourself on your dating profile, right? The whole purpose of your dating profile is to attract people into your orbit that you can build a relationship with, etc. LinkedIn is exactly the same way. We need to treat it in the same mentality. We want you to present as a world-class individual that I should be connecting with. So that's the first main concept that I want to give to you guys. And that tool, again, will be available to you at the end of the webinar, and you'll be able to use it and upgrade your LinkedIn profile accordingly. So that's the kind of the first concept that I wanted to really hammer home. Now, let's get into some outreach tactics. This is important because there's a number of ways that you can approach outreach. Now, the most common is this first one: sell, 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 all about me, not you. Now, as we all know, we get these in our inboxes every day, whether it's email, whether it's on LinkedIn. These are the people that come out, and when their first message is me, me, me. I'm Troy. I do this. Perchance, do you need my services? That's probably the worst way to reach out on whether it's email or LinkedIn. So stay away from the sell, 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 me, not you. Of course, our end goal is sales, but we need to get there in a much more elegant way. And I'm going to talk about some of those tactics with you today. The second one that a lot of people will do is simply do a connection request, but with no context, no message. So what do I do with that? That's essentially spam. And those are the ones that we all either ignore or simply delete. So let's stay away from connecting with someone without adding a message and context, because we as humans always want to understand the context of a situation that we're going into, and we want to avoid the guesswork that's involved with just doing a message, a connection request with no message. Now, what I do recommend is that we take an approach of relationship building. Sales, partnerships, business in general is all about relationships, right? We only do business with people that we trust. Now, we don't have to know them deeply, but we at least have to have a level of trust with people before we actually buy. This is especially true. I've done a lot in B2B SaaS. And in B2B SaaS, if you don't have a level of trust with your prospects and the people that you're bringing into your orbit, they're not going to listen to you. They're not going to stay connected, and you're not going to make the sale. So trust is paramount, and relationships are what builds trust. So let's focus on relationship building. And this effectively is you, not me, right? So if I'm reaching out to you, I'm not going to talk so much about me. I'm going to talk more about you, showing that I have a valid and real interest in who you are as a business person, and therefore wanting to connect with you. Now, another baseline way or strategy of getting people to engage with you is posing a strategic question in your outreach message, right? So if you can think of a question that just makes sense for your industry, for this person that you're going to be interfacing with, that's what we want to do. And I'll give you a few examples of that in a moment. So let me keep going through this example. So it's all me, 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 spray and pray. Notice that there's no focus that they're talking about. They're talking about 5, 6, 7 different offerings that they have. Not effective. And I don't feel like he's trying to build a relationship with me. I feel like he's just trying to sell me. This is the sell person. And he's asking no questions, really. And there's no calendar link that I can click on here to schedule something with this guy. So this is not the way to do it. But luckily for all of us, This is the way 95% of people are doing LinkedIn outreach. So let's let them keep doing this. And we're going to do things a little bit differently in order to get much better results. Now, this one I would say is the right way. So it's all about them. Hey, Churho, I came across your profile and I'm intrigued by the work you're doing with your company. Are you based out of South Korea? Would love to connect. So again, it's not salesy. It shows interest in the person. That is a very strategic question. And you can see, hey, he's excited. Thanks for reaching out. I'm based in Korea. I'm currently leading my company, right? So this is an authentic conversation that has started and a budding relationship. So this is really, really important concept to think about. And just like dating, we don't want to ask too much on the first date, as it were. We want to make sure that we have a number of dates before we, start asking them for things, right? So the concept is exactly the same. Now, this one I'm saying is the right way, although it's not 100% the right way. The formatting is horrible. It looks scammy, but I thought this was really cool. I literally got this today, and you know, I'll give you my 2 cents, right? I'm going to tell you what I think. So they gave me literally 2 cents on PayPal and told me how I can go get it, etc., which is kind of funny. But this actually got me to read the whole thing. And I'm really a student of this stuff. I think that doing something like this can be very impactful because it cuts through a lot of the noise. The only thing I don't like about this is it just seems really uh it's not done in an elegant way. But you could take that concept of giving your 2 cents to someone in order to get into a conversation with them. I think it would work really well. In fact, I think I may try this with a few of our companies going forward. Now, sequence. It's not about just connecting with someone and then immediately asking them to get on the phone with you, etc. We want to build a relationship. And the way that we build relationships is having a back and forth conversation. So we want to have a sequence of messages that are being sent out to the people that we're connecting with that will get us to a point where we can actually get on Zoom and have a real conversation with them. So this is an example of the community method or the group that I was talking about. When my LinkedIn community, I'd love to have you in it because you seem relevant to it. If you're interested, no pressure, but if you're interested, here's a link, right? And we get people coming into the community all day long. So if you are working for a company or have a startup that has a good topic around it that people are interested in, definitely creating a group or a community that you can invite people into as a low barrier kind of entry point to your funnel is a great way to go about it. And then once they're in the community, then you can start doing some qualification and pulling people out into either triage calls or sales calls. I like to do a triage call first, like a 15-minute triage call, then get them onto a sales call if they're qualified. So that is up to you, kind of how you manage that. But that is a great way of working it. Now, why is this good? Why does this work? It's because you're building a relationship, you're adding value to them, because if it's a topic that they're interested in, of course they're going to join. You're giving them a very clear call to action. There's only one link in here. There's only one thing that they can do. And as I said, it gives them an entree into your marketing funnel, which will then bring them into the sales process. So this is a tremendous way to approach people that you don't know and getting them into a conversation. So after you build a relationship, we're going to ask for things now. Once you have a legitimate relationship with someone, even on LinkedIn, it's a budding relationship, a new relationship. But now we can start to ask them for, in this case, the coffee chat. Hey, I'm building something. you're in the industry that I want to deliver it to. I'm not going to sell, but I'd love to get your opinion. I'd love to get your 2 cents, right? So this is an example of kind of a final message that you would send to people to get them onto Zoom. And you would put your calendar link in here. If you don't have a calendar link, if you don't know what I'm talking about with that, essentially a link where people can go to a web page that shows your calendar, your availability, also their availability, because it'll pull up from their side, and then they can find a day and time that works best for them. Makes it really, really easy for them to engage with you, which is what we want to do when we're doing lead generation. Okay, I've talked a lot about the sequences of messages that we're going to use for people to come into our orbit and to get them to first connect with us and then engage with us. So another gift that I want to give to you guys is a trained GPT that will help you create LinkedIn sequences, messaging sequences, as well as email sequences that you can create based on the knowledge of your company, so that you can have great messaging going out to the people that you want to on LinkedIn. And this is something, again, it'll get you 85, 90% there. You close in the last 10% gap, and then you have great messaging in order to invite people into your orbit and get them onto a Zoom call. So these are the block and tackle kind of tactics that I use in order to get people to engage with me and our portfolio companies. And hopefully you've seen something in here that's at least intriguing or a good idea for you that you can start experimenting with and playing with. And that really is the key, is experimenting. When I put together a new sequence, whether it's an email outreach or a LinkedIn outreach, I will first take 100 or 200 people, filter them through that sequence, see how it performs. I don't throw 1,000 people into there and just have it churn through 1,000 people. What if it doesn't work the way we think it's going to work, right? We have to test all of these things. So I suggest starting with a smaller group, seeing how it performs. If it performs great, throw everyone in there. If it doesn't, change it up a little bit. See if you can get better results from the next 100 people. And then once it hits, it hits. And then you lean into it full bore. Okay. Let's see. Let's keep going. Now that we've got our profile going and we've got good messaging and good sequences for LinkedIn, we want to automate this. Now, back in the day, I remember I used to spend a lot of time on LinkedIn just back and forth messaging people. Those days are over, thankfully, with automation and sequencing. I've used a lot of LinkedIn automation tools, and I can tell you the best tool that I have found and that we're currently using with all of our companies today is called QuickLead. Now, QuickLead is just a tremendous tool that brings a lot together for you to automate all of this, to make it very easy, practical, and most importantly, on cruise control, so that you can kind of back away from this, knowing that every day people are coming into your funnel. So let's talk about how to automate these things with QuickLead. Now, I'm not going to do a live demo here. I've got some screenshots of the high level functionality of QuickLead that I think you'll be interested in. If you do have more questions about this, the founder of QuickLead, Parth is his name. He does great orientation calls, etc. He'll be happy to get on with you, talk about your business, and figure out how QuickLead can best accommodate what you want to accomplish. So it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. I always love if you can ever have a list of 3, that always plays well. So try to get a list of 3, if not 3, 5. Never go 4. I'll talk to you about that in a different webinar. Number 1, we're going to generate. You need a list. You need a list of people that you can actually be reaching out to, and we'll talk a little bit about how to do that. You need to craft an outreach sequence and enter that into QuickLead, so that QuickLead kind of knows what to do and in what order, and then simply launch it and forget about it. Well, I guess I shouldn't say forget about it. After you get traction with it, then you forget about it. But we need to get to traction first. So let's walk through this. The first thing that I do now, I use a LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Some people use Apollo. There's a number of lead list kind of tools out there that you can use. So whatever you're using, what we want to get a hold of is we want to have good filters in there in the search. And the reason that we want good filters is we want to make sure that we're reaching out to people in a very specific niche with very specific job titles. We don't want to just spray and pray. We want to go directly after the exact people that we've determined are the best fit for our product. And that's why we need great filtering. So once you get in here and do a search, you'll get a list of a certain number of people in a certain geography that match all of your criteria. Then we want to extract that, pull it out, and we want to get that into the Quick Lead tool so that we can start doing outreach to them. Now, the great thing is if you look above actually, I'm going to put myself maybe just right next to the Quick Lead logo. See it over to my right is the Quick Lead logo there. That is a browser plugin. After I do my search in Sales Navigator or Apollo, etc., I simply click that and it's going to pull out from the side, and it is an extraction tool. So what it's going to do is, in this case, I have 29 results. I'm looking for VCs in Taiwan. This may be 1,000 people, depending on your filtering. But in this case, it's just 29. But I'm going to simply click extract results. And what Quick Lead allows me to do is it pulls all of that into a CSV format that I can then use for other tools. So that's the first step that I like to do. Once I have this list, I've got it here in a spreadsheet. And what I like to do is clean it up a little, get rid of some of the information that may not be applicable. If I have first name, company name, and their LinkedIn URL, you can do great outreach with just that information. So I kind of pare it down. In this case, I just have first name, LinkedIn URL. And this is going to allow me to say, hi, Emily, I saw your profile. I was impressed. I want to connect, and this is why, right? That's how we get into that more personal angle that we want to always have when we're doing outreach. So what I'm doing is I'm taking that list, and then I'm coming into Quick Lead here, and it looks a little bit complicated, but I can tell you it's very easy. Up top, the first thing that Quick Lead is going to do for each one of these people is it's going to simply visit their profile. So they're going to see that I've visited their profile. What does this do? This helps with the being authentic. If I kind of say a bunch of stuff to them and I haven't even viewed their profile, they're going to question like, this guy doesn't even know me. But if we visit their profile first in an automagical way through Quick Lead, they can say, oh, this person looked at my profile. And then next, I'm going to send them an invitation with a note. And Quick Lead will let you add whatever copy, whatever message you want to put in there. And then if it's not accepted, after 10 days, I'm going to withdraw that request. Why is it important to withdraw the request if they haven't accepted in a few days? Well, LinkedIn has a bunch of metrics that they use to kick people out. So if you're going in and just spamming people and you have like 100 requests out and nobody is connecting with you, that's not good for LinkedIn. So they're going to shut you down. And Quick Lead is designed to make sure that you don't get shut down. And that's why we put that withdraw in there after, say, 10 days of someone not accepting. Now, if we go to the other side where someone accepts, then we can start the message sequence from there to ask them to get on a Zoom or ask them for a coffee chat, ask them for something to go deeper with them. Or it could just be congratulating on a win that they've had lately, etc. So all of this here in Quick Lead is automated. I've entered the list of people that I want to be connecting with, and I'm telling Quick Lead, this is the sequence of messaging that I want to do. And the cool thing is with Quick Lead is it can determine if there's a positive response or a negative response. If there's a negative response and someone says, I'm not interested, well, then Quick Lead immediately just shuts it down, which is great. That's what we want to do. We don't want to bother people. But if it's a positive response, then Quick Lead knows to send out that next message from your messaging sequence to get them in to your funnel and start working with them. So Quick Lead is great in managing all of that. And another thing that Quick Lead does that I really like is you can give it a goal. You can say, hey, Quick Lead, I'm connecting with all these people, and my end goal is to get them into a coffee chat, or my end goal is to get them on a Zoom call for a demo. Well, Quick Lead has AI messaging that it employs. You simply tell it the goal, and it will have a natural language conversation. It's really impressive with that person to toward that end, toward that goal, to get them onto your calendar. So Quick Lead is absolutely invaluable. It's like having a team of SDRs or BDRs in the sales world, people that go out and prospect and get people onto an account executive's calendar. That's what Quick Lead is doing for you, but we're not paying them several $1,000s a month to do it. It's absolutely amazing. And frankly, I think it's a little bit better than the human. So really, really impressive what Quick Lead is doing here. Now, once you've created your sequence, then you're simply going to launch it, create campaign, and then Quick Lead is going to do its magic. It's going to automate everything. You're going to see people getting onto your calendar on just a daily basis, depending on how many people you're reaching out to. So this is absolutely instrumental, and this is really, I would say, my secret weapon that I have used when I go into a new market. Nobody knows me, nobody knows my brand, but using this type of outreach will very quickly get you engaging with important people in that market and get you to a point where you're starting to get traction in that marketplace, which is, at the end of the day, that's what we're all after, right? Is traction in our businesses, revenue in our businesses. And this is the best way that I've found to get people into a funnel and engage with them. So that is Quick Lead. Now, another great thing that Quick Lead has that I like is it has kind of a unified inbox. So as people are chatting with you, it's going to have an inbox here. You can set reminders for follow-ups, et cetera. It's kind of like a mini CRM for all of your LinkedIn activity. And this has been extremely helpful to me to organize all of those conversations that are going on. You can manage this. You can have someone else manage this, but it's extremely helpful in getting to where you want to end up with sales conversations. So, as I said at the beginning of the webinar, stick with me to the end, and there's going to be some free gifts. I've mentioned two of the gifts. A third one is a discount on Quick Lead. So if you want to get started with Quick Lead, 20% discount. I will actually give you a code for that. But all I ask of you is that you follow me on LinkedIn. It's very easy. Simply search for Troy Malone, look for the only bald Troy Malone, and you got me. Connect with me. And in your connection request, put a short message in there about the webinar and your request to get these free gifts. I will send them out to you directly on LinkedIn. I'll give you the LinkedIn profile wizard connection or URL that you can access that at. And you can do your Saturday morning coffee. As I said, in 45 minutes, you're going to have a world-class LinkedIn profile that people want to connect with. Secondly, for all of the messaging sequences, let's give you a head start and give you a GPT that is trained in order to deliver those sequences for you that we know work. And lastly, I'll give you the code so that you can get Quick Lead for a 20% discount. And actually, if you do a quarterly or yearly plan, I think I can even get you a bigger discount. So let me know if you're interested in doing a quarterly or yearly plan, and I'd be happy to get you a further discount for about 30%. All right. So I am really excited to talk about these things. As you can probably tell, these outreach methods work. Now, On today's webinar, I wasn't able to get into extreme detail on the messaging front and some of those tactics. I gave you some high level ideas of where you can go with it. But if you do have further questions about what messaging may work best for your business, I'm totally open for those conversations. So as you connect with me on LinkedIn, if you want to have a conversation specifically about your business and some tactics that you can employ with automated LinkedIn outreach with Quick Lead, I'm happy to discuss that, give you some ideas, give you my thoughts about your business and your marketing outreach. Happy to do that. So please hit me up for that as well. That is the webinar today. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much for your interest in these, in the best way to reach out to people on LinkedIn. Email is very similar. You can take a lot of these tactics to email as well. I hope it was helpful to you guys, and I look forward to connecting with you in the future. So connect with me on LinkedIn, and I look forward to those conversations. Talk to you guys soon.